and I'm currently doing a bit of research on basically the circular fashion industry, or like the niche circular fashion industry, and yes, conducting research specifically on, well, technically the barriers that are sort of like impeding progress in this sort of area. Talking with specialists at the moment, or with other people who are also in sustainable fashion, sustainable clothing, getting their opinions. And I'm trying to connect it, especially with the sort of new set of EU regulations and directives that are going to come out or are already coming out. So everything revolving around the EU Green Deal or the Circular Economy Action Plan and all these other sub-directives. And yes, so that's why I thought it would be really interesting to talk with someone like you guys, because I think Mud Jeans is, well, basically at the spirit of time in this sort of whole area. And yeah.
Cool, great. Thanks for your introduction, and thanks for your interest as well. So it's really cool. Maybe Teresa, you can quickly.
Yes. Tim and I, we study in Lisbon, and we're doing our master thesis. So I got the link, or like the connection to Mood Jeans via Tim, because he told me that the team session is taking place today. And so my research topic is not the same, but but like a little bit similar. It's about how secondhand, but also mainly companies that do upcycling activities in the fashion industry can grow and be profitable and overcome challenges, while they also, of course, making a positive social and environmental impact. And I'm really interested how these businesses can scale their operations and still stay true to their values.
Cool.
That's my basically.
We can probably answer some of the questions you have. Annika, welcome for you as well. You're also calling from Lisbon or not?
I'm sorry?
You're also calling from Lisbon or not?
No, I'm in Germany at the moment.
No, because Tim and Teresa are both calling from Lisbon, right? Or
I wish I'd be there. It's probably much warmer than Germany. So I'm sorry I'm late. I had like trouble with the link, but so my name is Annika. I'm also writing my master thesis at the moment, and I'm researching B Corp certified companies, specifically in the fashion industry. And I'm kind of like trying to see what kind of impact the certification has on like the social performance of a company. So regarding like all like the kind of like people aspect of a company, employees, customers, other like stakeholders that are like kind of involved in all the business. And yes, so that's what I'm interested in.
Great. Welcome. I just saw Bram popping in, but he left again. So let's see what happens to Bram. Maybe in short, we introduce ourselves as well. So my name is Dion. I'm responsible for everything related to product at Mud Jeans, and I've been here for 10 years. Prior to that, worked for G-Star, so always been involved in denim and always been searching for ways to do it better, greener, and with less water, etc., etc. And we're joined today by Mohammad, who's our CSR responsible. You can maybe introduce yourself a bit better.
So I'm Mohammad. I very recently joined Mud Jeans, so this November. I also learned about Mud Jeans through my master's in sustainability, so we have that in common. So that was not too long ago, and it definitely motivated me to join the team at Mud Jeans. So I appreciate the place that you're coming from, and I empathize fully.
Good, thank you. So how we usually do these sessions is in a row. You can ask your questions, and you can also join in conversations that others might bring up, and then we'll try to answer all your questions as good as possible, and are also curious to learn about your questions. So I would say, Tim, kickoff is yours, and take it
Yes,
away.
sure. Yeah, sure. Also something that I can maybe also add to my introduction from before is that I focus on the EU regulations, but I'm also very interested in, well, how can you remain competitive as a circular business, as a circular fashion business, especially when you have other players in the sector which, do not abide those circular, well, not rules, but yeah, those progresses, and they remain in their like linear material flow and everything. So yeah, as I was saying, I think I've been doing a lot of research on barriers that I read in academia, for example, or that I've also heard from other interview partners in the last couple of weeks. And I was wondering how, because something that is repetitive is always about technical or like the infrastructure, basically the supply chain, reverse logistics, because this is a huge point for many players. Because it's very well obviously complex. The whole supply, like the global supply chain, is I don't know, ridiculously intertwined and complex. And I was just wondering, how do you go about this? So how do you simplify this? This sort of like step. Yeah.
No, very relevant question indeed. So there's a few things to keep in mind. That's primarily taking back old jeans and collecting old jeans. There's basically two streams for us. One of which is the our own take backs scheme, where people can hand in their old jeans and we collect them. That's quite a. Sorry, can you? Sorry. 1 second. So that's, sorry for the interruption. So that's one stream, and that's quite a costly stream as well, and complicated in terms of logistics, but it is an essential part to incorporate in the model. And the other source is basically what quite a lot of a few denim mills these days have in their own environment, is also a source of worn out jeans that they can get from their local market, actually, to also incorporate in their recycling streams. But as said, that's not a common practice. So we work with a very selected group of suppliers. For our fabrics, we work with 3 parties. And for our garment manufacturing and laundry, we work with 1 party only, and that allows us also to monitor what they do, how they do it, and to keep control over that, actually. So that's a conscious decision to keep it that narrow. So
Yes, and so in like at the same time, when you wanna maybe this also goes into Teresa's way, sorry. In like, I don't know, in the future, if you'd like to I don't know, maybe scale up, or you would like to say, okay, we wanna, produce more, like make more denim in a year, or up the production, would you consider also expanding your network, like your supply or your logistics network? Because you just said that keeping it narrow obviously simplifies it a bit and makes it easier for you to steer through all these things.
So luckily or unluckily, I don't know depends on how you approach it. We're still really small. So with all the supply partners that we work with, we are able to grow tremendously. Scaling up 10 times as big is more of a necessity, actually, than a limit. What we have given thought about is what happens if we want to move to Asia or America. The idea then would be to set up a similar structure on those locations in those regions actually, because there are denim mills in Asia, there are denim mills in America, for instance. So that would be a next step if we get to that stage. Also to limit the footprint of transporting old jeans to there, and getting fabrics from Turkey to US, for instance, wouldn't make any sense. So that's the way we view those kind of future developments.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Teresa.
I mean, it's kind of the same question as Tim's before, but yeah, I think I'd still ask it. How is the company like balancing, especially corporate social innovation principles, with the need to remain profitable? Is there any strategy you found effective, or how do you balance this, or try to balance this issue?
To be fair, it's not easy to make it a profitable business. We've been on a growing path for quite a long time, which required continuous investments in people and operations, and also research and development. We've been very lucky to be supported by Dutch investors that not only look at the financial side of the business, but also they look at the impact. So our KPIs are not only financial, but also how much water did we save, how many jeans did we save from landfill, for instance. Those are all points that we need to report on. At the end of the day, you need to be profitable, and that's also a stage that we're in currently. The initial adapters of our business model, of our products, were what we called dark green customers, who are really super engaged and motivated towards sustainable practices, actually. They would even compromise on the product because they know that the impact is less and that they're doing a good thing by using the product. Currently, we're in a stage where, with all our developments and innovations, we can actually say that our product is no longer different than a conventional product. It's just the composition has recycled cotton in it. The way we do it is more sustainable. Therefore, it's a bit more expensive. But in terms of look and comfort and product, it can meet with conventional products. So that is basically our next stage, where we also approach the less conscious consumer and convince them to also buy these more sustainable products without having to compromise on quality or aesthetics. So that's the approach that we have.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I also had a few interviews in the past, and everyone told me like denim never goes out of style, and at the end of the day it's still about the fashion item and the product, also the impact you have, and that's a really big plus. But at the end of the day it's also about what you deliver and what kind of products you produce and what is in style or what the consumer needs and wants.
Very true. You can
Yeah.
you can make a zero impact product, but if it's not comfortable or fashionable, and then it's you might have a few very hardcore people that will buy it, but it's not a viable business model. So very true. Yeah.
Are there other limitations when you try to expand, like for example, equipment or skilled labor or I don't know, skilled workers or something like that?
Not per se. Now maybe of course a little bit in the Netherlands, like in Germany, probably it's not always easy to find staff. But if we're really talking about labor, that's done in Turkey, Spain, and Tunisia. That's not per se a limitation. Limitation is in technical steps that we want to take, but that are not widely available yet. So we have made a pant made out of 100% post-consumer waste in a combination of mechanically and chemical recycled fibers. That was on a lab scale. So we know it is possible. The techniques are existing, but to do that on a very large scale, we are too small and others are not yet willing to adapt and invest in that. So that's a bit of a struggle that we encounter in certain areas. But that's also the fun part about being innovative and being a pioneer, that you have to try and be upfront and convince others to walk along with you actually. So
Yes, yeah, thank you. I think then Annika can go on, or Tim, or yeah.
oh good.
Yes, I can continue. So I don't know, are you like familiar with the triple bottom line concept?
No, you have to explain me.
So basically it's well, it was introduced.
Or maybe Mohammed is, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Familiar, but go ahead, Anika. No, like explain it to Dion, and then maybe it's the way you explain it would be more relevant towards your question.
Yes. So, well, basically, it's pretty simple. So basically, it was like introduced by John Elkington in like 1997, and he kind of proposed the concept of having 3 bottom lines. So bottom line for a company usually is like the financial bottom line, like how much profit you make and like what's your capital and stuff. And he added a environmental bottom line to it and a social bottom line. So that's a triple bottom line. It's financial, environmental, and social. And it's kind of like a way to implement corporate social responsibility into companies and like implementing it into strategy. It's obviously like not super specific, like it doesn't give you like super specific KPIs or something, but it's kind of like a way to tackle more than just making profit. But also, as you said, like it's not only about well, like the financial aspects, but also like how much water do you like need to produce your products and so on and so forth. So what I kind of like the feeling that I get is that you guys are really like focused on your environmental impact and how you like produce your jeans, which is really amazing. But as I said, I was kind of like interested in how you guys are or if yes, how are you guys measuring social impact? For example, I don't know, community aspects and like treating your employees and obviously like kind of like the responsibility towards your customers. Do you have like any KPIs for that or strategy or something like that?
Of course, as you said, the B Corp. By the way, thank you for explaining the triple bottom line concept. Of course, being a B Corp automatically involves focusing on those aspects as well, besides the environmental part, also the social part. It's true that our biggest focus has always been the environmental impact from our DNA from the beginning actually that we really wanted to make that work. But one thing obviously comes with the other, so that has definitely been on our radar as well. The challenge has been that as we are such a small company, and B Corp in that sense has been quite an eye opener, but also a struggle in that sense, because if you, as a small company, if you want to really meet some of the standards of B Corp on a social level, it's quite hard to meet those standards in saying, okay, what's I cannot think of concrete examples, but you would basically need an HR department of 3 people to meet all these standards and to work on that, and that's in a company of 10 people just not possible. We do try to provide developments in the sense for our staff here in the Netherlands, but also in Tunisia. So over there we are working with the social labor convergence plan. That is an initiative to safeguard and do that also on a joint level together with other brands that manufacture in the same country and in the same factories to ensure the well-being over there. Another point is we are there quite often. I came back 10 days ago, and it's a continuous process of being there and joining them. So yeah, we do work on that aspect as well. But as said, it's not the easiest part being a small company, but it is definitely on our agenda.
Nice. So would you say that like well, mainly kind of like the lack of staff, I guess, like not having enough people to work on stuff is like the main challenge in implementing those, I don't know, I guess B Corp standards in general?
Yeah. So we do have, for instance, we have an employee handbook, we have a code of conduct for our suppliers. So those to us are the minimum things that we should have. We provide days off to do community work, but to really engage with our community around us, we are just way too small to make an impact in such a level. And that is something that's, the bigger we grow, the more easier it will become to work on that.
Yeah, definitely. I have one last question. It's a bit critical. I'm sorry for that, but
That's what it's for.
I checked like the B Corp overall impact scores that you had, because you're like certified since 2015. I saw that. And I think you have had your highest score in 2020 with 124 points, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're down to 83 points. And I just kind of wondered what changed and like what kind of like challenges that you faced in like the whole certification process.
I don't know, Mohammed, if you are already up to date with that part.
I am.
If you want to answer it, or you want me to answer it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, could be a good opportunity. So concerning the whole B Corp thing, to reiterate what also Dion had said earlier, a lot of getting higher scores in certain aspects requires resources for third-party audits or assurance. So on a small scale, it would be quite difficult, to be able to finance such things. So that's like the main thing of, not being able to grow with certain scores. But concerning the dip in scores that you've noticed, it's in very big part relating towards innovation. So there's, you do get a good amount of points if you, let's say, innovate, but it takes into account where you had started. So it's not let's say we innovated quite a lot in 2016, and then you're already setting yourself up to quite a high standard, if that makes sense. So with the next assessment, you're being measured to like not according to the industry, but rather towards yourself, which can be quite a high bar to overcome, as a small company, or in general, the pace of innovation is not necessarily linear. So you can't really expect a steady trajectory of growth. So yeah, if we had started at let's say, not necessarily the best place, it would be much easier to continuously top your performance. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there something else, Dion, that maybe you would want to mention?
No, that relates to this as well. And that's probably for you guys interesting as well. So we made an assessment in our life cycle assessment where we used to measure against the industry standard, but we now also looked at our own, if we would make our own product, but with conventional cotton, but in the same location and via the same processes. So that's basically become our standard. So we're not measuring against the industry standard where we would save huge amounts of water and energy, but we also measured against our own non-sustainable standard, I would say. And that has also made quite an sustainability impact on the B Corp as well. So, which relates basically to what Mohammed says.
Okay. Well, that was pretty insightful because I didn't know that like B Corp measures like kind of like or like relates a score to like what you had before. So that's really interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, that, and on top of that, they also changed certain criteria and measures. So it's not a one-on-one to what it was 2 or 4 years ago, actually. So that's another aspect as well.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, like the like recertification process, is it like is it easy? Is it like, can you do it like on the go, or is it like super,
No, it's
I don't
super
know,
intense.
time intense and
Yeah, it's time intensive, and you need to now, especially because this time around a lot has changed in their process as well. So yeah, it's quite luckily it's not a yearly thing, but it comes every so, but it's every 2 or 4 years. I don't know actually. 3, yeah. So yeah, that's but it involves a lot of administration, documentation, so it's quite a tedious job. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
But it learns you a lot as well. So it's really a good mirror to be comparing yourself against. So it's a great tool.
Did the B Corp did the process always also like pushed you towards new initiatives maybe, or did it like kind of like inspired you to do better in like certain aspects?
Definitely. In environmental aspects, I must say we were already quite advanced, but in other areas such as indeed writing an employee handbook and looking at those options where you can create things for your employees, such as we work, I don't know, out of the 10 people that work here, I think we have 7 nationalities, so people tend to be tend to like to work from their home country as well from time to time, so we allow that as well, that you can work on your on location. What we learned is that it's actually possible. I mean, for us in the Netherlands, you have certain fixed holidays that are related to the Christian belief, but we also allow people to say, hey, I don't care about those days. I'd rather take my Hindu or my Islamic holidays. So we are allowing to switch those, which is also learning. We learned that from the B Corp actually, that those things are possible. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's amazing. Yes.
What else can we say?
I had another question regarding the recycling process at your company. So a while back, I was talking with someone from a Portuguese textile manufacturing company. Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
And what was I saying? Oh yeah, so they had an R&D project because technically they're not really at one stage of the supply chain where they can really enact circularity because they get their fabrics from someone and they sell the the textiles that they're making to other, like they sell it further, and then those people further down the supply chain, they will actually produce the garments. So they did an R&D project, and basically to make it short, they found that for them it was really difficult to achieve this certain level of quality of recycled yarns, for example, that will make your recycled denim last long enough so that it's, that the denim holds together basically. So I was wondering, how do you guys go on about this? Because basically their finding was that recycled fabrics will always be, less, like a little less durable, which obviously makes sense because they've been used before and everything. So I was wondering, how can you, you know, make them last as long as
Yeah.
possible. I think I've read that you are also using virgin cotton in your recycling process, I guess, to maybe make sure that
Yeah.
they will last a bit longer. But yeah.
No, true. So in general, it's in the industry, it's a known fact that you can go up to maximum 40% post-consumer waste in your fabrics. That's really the max, because after that, the quality indeed becomes less. It's also a fact that if you mechanically recycle fibers, they become shorter and shorter. That's why indeed we have at least 70% virgin material, or we had at least 70% virgin material in our fabrics. The latest development in that, and that has been incorporated in our fabric since I think now nearly a year, is that we blend in our case it's Refibra, and Refibra is also a partial recycled content. But Refibra is, don't know if you are familiar with the concept of Tencel or Lyocell.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
In short, Tencel or Lyocell is basically a process where the wood pulp is being compressed, and out of that a filament yarn is spun. So instead of using only wood pulp, they manage now also to add recycled cotton made into a pulp and mix that with that wood pulp, and out of that create a filament yarn. The advantage of the filament yarn is that you can make it as long as you want. The disadvantage is that it's very smooth and very it's almost silky. But in the combination with mechanically recycled fibers that we have, it's actually a good mix, and it enhances the quality and the strength. So that's the way that we are improving on those aspects actually.
Mhm. And would this be because a lot of it, I am by no means an expert in all of this, recycling process and everything, but what you've just mentioned is very reminiscent of what my other interview partner has said. Is this can I regard this as sort of like an best practice industry industry norm that other companies which would do similar things as you would also try do?
I don't understand your question exactly. You
So
mean that
the
we try to inspire other companies to do similar things as well, if that's what you mean, or
yes, sort of, yeah.
yeah. So we don't only we try to come up with innovations that can be implemented in the entire industry. Indeed, that's one of our goals to change the denim industry. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry for this unclear
No, not at
following
all.
question.
Hello, Amara. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm sorry there were some technical difficulties,
Okay.
but I'm very
That's
happy
okay.
to join. I don't know if there's an order in which people ask questions or if everybody now is listening, so I would really like to know.
No, so we've just talked. So Tim and Teresa are both in Lisbon, and they had quite specific questions on the process of recycling and the logistics behind it, and a bit about the technique. Annika had more questions more related to the social part of the business and the B Corp certification that we have. So those are a bit the areas we've touched, but curious to know about what you do and what you would like to know.
Thank you. I'm a master student at Tilburg University, right now graduating, so doing my master thesis. And I'm doing it about B Corp certification. So I will for sure go back to the questions that Annika asked about B Corp certification. But I'm actually more interested in the return on sustainability investment. How do you measure it? And actually, if there's a difference before the certification or after, and the differences between companies that have a certification or do not. So my first question is, you have some sustainability challenges. Did the B Corp certification help address sustainability challenges?
Not necessarily, because we were already quite advanced in the technical part of the business and the sustainability. So on that field, I wouldn't say that B Corp really helped us a lot. Of course, they do provide. It does provide guidelines and insights on things that you should work on. But like we said to Annika as well, it's mainly on the social level that we learn from the B Corp standards actually.
Okay, and then were there actually any internal, external pressures your company experienced that influenced the decision to get a B Corp, maybe from different stakeholders or maybe employees in the company?
No, it was really an intrinsic desire to become a B Corp. We learned a lot about it, and I think we've been a B Corp since 2016, 15, if I'm not mistaken. So we were there quite early. No, and it was really there was nobody who pushed us to do so. It was really something that we wanted to do ourselves. So.
Okay. You guys also have other certifications. I saw like the GOT certificate and like an organic one. Why did you guys choose to also have more certifications?
We don't, as a company, we are not GOT certified or as such. That's more related to the product and specifically to the cotton that we are using. And that is because many customers that are familiar with organic fibers are familiar with the GOT certification, but it's not per se that we choose GOTS cotton. We also have OCS cotton, and it's the reason to do that is that because that's for us a requirement from a customer point of view to have that certified.
Okay, so
I must be honest that for us, it's also not the holy grail, GOTS or OCS organic cotton. There are pros and cons, to be honest. So for us, the ultimate objective is to work with only post-consumer recycled cotton. So that's the target that we are working towards.
Okay, and then what do you take into consideration when looking at a certification that you're going to apply for?
No, so we don't necessarily look for certifications. We try to avoid certifications, to be honest. We do our own life cycle assessment, and we have our own sustainability reports. And through this life cycle assessment, we try to be as transparent as we can. We measure whatever we can with all our suppliers, and we publish this. By doing so, we feel that we disclose what we do. If people have suggestions or ideas on how we should do things better, we are open to that. Certifications, our experiences are very costly. It very often is a way to pay a lot of money to consultants that will give you a tick in the box and that will make you sleep well at night. But whether the actual content is really matching to what it claims to be can be questionable. So we believe more in radical transparency than in all kinds of certifications for that reason.
Okay, but why then have certifications? Because you guys had 4, I saw in the sustainability report.
Because it's a request from many customers. Okay. Many of our products basically come with these certificates, especially the recycling standard and the organic standard. They are provided by our suppliers, so that's the reason. And B Corp has been a very conscious decision to do so, because it's almost a way of working, a way of life to meet those standards actually.
Okay, so you would say that B Corp has some innovation, inserted some innovation in your processes.
Innovations, but also insights and guidelines. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. How does your company currently assess the return on sustainability investments? Which methods do you guys use?
So we have a few KPIs that we report. So we have 2 very important investors that, which I mentioned before, they do not only judge us on our financial results, they also judge us on our environmental results, and as such, they want to know our water savings and our water consumption and our carbon emission savings. So those are KPIs that we work on. At the end of the day, we are a commercial organization that needs to make money in the end. So bottom line is financial. So we need to make money to sustain our business actually. Don't know if that specifically answers your question or if there's a deeper layer there.
Do you guys also look, for example, at employee satisfaction or customer loyalty, stakeholder trust with your investors? Do you guys do like that kind of return, like that sustainability return? Do you map that in your program?
No, it's beginning to be implemented. So employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, but also our agents, for instance, we also measure that how they rate us. So that's in place. Investor satisfaction, not per se, but we are in Are you still there? Oh yeah, we are in weekly contact with them, so that's quite a direct feedback. I
Okay.
think Tim is gone or not?
No, Tim is still
Yeah?
here.
He's not moving in my screen, but that's okay. Okay.
How do you, maybe Annika already asked, but how do you perceive the impact of the B Corp certification on your return on sustainability investments? Did you experience any benefits or more challenges?
Both. So, like I said, we have it's some kind of a mirror that shows you where you can improve and where you can where you are already doing well. It not necessarily works very easy for smaller companies. That's something that we encountered. It considers mainly larger organizations that have their own CSR departments, that have their own HR departments, and as such can implement certain processes and practices for which we are just too small to do so.
Okay, so you did not also experience any benefits of B Corp certification, like more customer loyalty or more investors that approached you, or maybe suppliers that were more content with your products?
Yes, definitely certain customers appreciate it, although to be very honest, it's a very small group that actually knows what B Corp is. And that comes back to the topic that we discussed earlier, is that our focus is shifting from dark green customers that are probably familiar with B Corp and all kinds of certifications towards more light green customers that are more mainstream oriented and not per se familiar with these kind of practices. So yeah, we have had benefits from that, but it's not a game changer, I would say.
Okay, so it did impact your customer loyalty, brand reputation, but not especially, not with that big of an impact that you would say it is because of B Corp.
No, exactly.
Okay. Do you have a B Corp community to turn to?
In the sense that we work with other B Corps, you mean?
Yes, or
Yeah.
talk to them, something.
Yeah, we have several meetups and platforms where we interact with other B Corps. Yeah.
Okay, and that also helps you guys a lot? Or are you like an active member or more passive?
We've been quite active. Maybe Mohammed knows, but there's been an action group, but that's, I think, Mohammed, you're not involved with it because I think it was related to female empowerment, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we've been on certain parts we've been active, and yeah, I would say yes.
Okay, and you are content with that then?
Yeah.
Okay. For companies in the fashion industry, like you are with Mat, that are certified versus other companies in the fashion/textile industry that are not certified, what do you think are the key differences?
As said, the certification as such is one thing, but it's more about what's your DNA and what do you stand for. And for us, that is making circular denim and making it as circular as possible and continuously working in doing that better. Other brands might have a B Corp certification as well. For instance, Mr. Marvis, I think they're B Corp as well. But I doubt whether for them it's really an intrinsic motivation or if it's more of a external driven motivation. So that would be a difference, I would say, between them and us.
but they are also certified. So what do you think are the differences between a company that is not certified and like you? I don't know if you know Zazie in the Netherlands.
No. Is it the accessory brand or not?
Yeah, it's like a niche, like a very special coats and bags that they let communities create, based in Amsterdam as well. But they do not have a B Corp certification. But for example, you do have a B Corp certification and other ones. So what do you think would be the difference? Why would you say, okay, we do have a certification and other companies might not? What do you think could be a reason?
Yeah, I don't know. It can be financial. It can be anything. I mean, it's expensive to become a B Corp, so that could be a motivation. I don't know. I would need to know specific companies to be able to judge it. So yeah, for instance, Zara or H&M, they are not a B Corp. So what's the difference? They are purely driven by making money, and we are not. But the company you just mentioned might have a total different approach. So I can't generalize that as such.
Okay. What future trends or changes do you foresee for impacting mud in the future, just based on sustainability?
Sorry, come again?
What future trends or changes do you expect for mud?
I expect that legislation will start to play an important role. And I hope that technical innovation will move fast enough to help us reaching our goal.
Sorry, can I quickly ask something regarding this? Because I also mentioned I am looking into a legislation right now, so everything revolving around, I don't know, Green Deal and etc., all these different things. I'm not sure how much you know about all those directives, because it's, I think, very tedious work to get familiar with everything. It's kind of like a jungle of acronyms sometimes. It's kind of long.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how much insights do you have, for example, into the Circular Economy Action Plan or the Strategy for Sustainable and Circular Textiles, etc.?
No, yeah, like you said, there's so many initiatives.
Yeah.
So far, we've always looked at, okay, what are the requirements, and we easily met them because we were already a front runner. Of course, we are coming towards the point that we also need to report on certain things to these kind of organizations. So as such, I think it's quite high on Mohammed's priority list to indeed make an inventory of what is out there, what are the requirements, and are there. I mean, one of our objectives is to find a partner that can really cover everything: LCA, traceability, legislation, digital passport, etc. So that is our wish, to find some company that can help us with that. And yeah, we are studying and also joining specific task forces to get ourselves up to date on this.
Yeah. Regarding this, are you maybe concerned because this whole package of directives obviously comes from the EU at the moment, so EU firms are, well, obviously more impacted than someone in Asia. I know that a lot of global firms are also impacted because of, for example, this due diligence, corporate sustainability due diligence directive, which kind of like tracks, or you need to track your entire supply chain. So I don't know, suppliers in Asia will also be sort of impacted by this. But do you think that because other directives, they don't specifically target, obviously, players in Asia or America or wherever, do you think that this will be sort of like an issue in terms of competitiveness? Because companies in Asia are not obliged to to yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. So
Yeah.
that is definitely an issue, but yeah, I would say we are not, yeah, like a Shein or what is it, Temu. We do not directly compete with them. We hope that customers see that we are on another level and doing things differently. But yeah, that is definitely a fear. But it used to be a bigger fear because there used to be no regulation, and right now the EU is at least setting up certain boundaries to that companies must meet. So I would say we're moving in the right direction compared to what it was before.
Yes. No, I agree. Thank you.
Good. I don't know, Amara, whether you have more
Yeah, maybe you
questions.
already answered it, because it's also about B Corp. What were your initial expectations of the B Corp certification? Because it was a conscious decision, you mentioned.
So the main objective was to get some kind of a direction and kind of guidelines on how to do the best possible thing, not only for the company but also for our environment and community actually. So that's was definitely the thing that we wanted to get out of it.
Okay. Was that in the end also what you got? Was this also the result of B Corp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially
How
in
did you
the-
experience the process?
Yeah, so you get a lot of you get a few hundred questions that you need to answer, and not only do you need to answer those questions, you also need to back them up by proof and by documentation, etc. So that's the experience that you need to think about things. That's what it does actually.
And your perception, did you like it? Would you do it again if you had the opportunity?
Yeah, we need a reassessment every
3
3
years?
years.
Yes.
So yeah, we're we're doing it again and again. Yeah.
Okay. I think. Oh yeah, and did you perceive any immediate changes after the B Corp certification? So let's say in 2016 you got the certification for the first time. Did you have any immediate changes that you guys experienced in the team or with the company?
No, that is really a process. So within the process of becoming certified, you learn things and you adjust things. But it's not that the moment you get the certification that the sun starts to shine or something like that. That's not the case.
Okay. I think if I'm seeing this quickly, those were my questions. But are there any non-financial benefits you guys have experienced from certifications that you can mention?
Yeah, I don't even have many financial benefits. They're mainly non-financial, so it's credibility, it's knowledge that you acquire on how things work and how you can do things better. So those are really the takeaways more than financial benefits, I would say. It's even the other way around. It's costly.
Can I jump in like really quick? I was just wondering, as more and more companies get B Corp certified, I don't know, do you think that's good? Or because I don't know if you know, but like Nespresso, I think in 2022 got like their B Corp certification, and many people are like, okay, what's happening? How can like a company like Nespresso that uses kind of like these one time throwaway coffee capsules and stuff get B Corp certified. Do you like the idea of more companies getting this certification, or would you prefer to like kind of keep the community small and only give it to people or companies that like actually are trying to, I don't know, do good?
Difficult question. On one hand, I think it's good that even these large polluting companies take action and are in a way forced to take action because they want to be B Corp certified. So they will have to think about how to do things differently. But yeah, it takes a little bit away the shine of being a front runner. But then again, there's also the scores that you can reach, and there's for those who really want to dive into it, they can look at what companies are actually doing for those scores. So no, I think it's still a good thing that it becomes a wider accepted certification. Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Teresa, Tim?
Yes, sorry. Oh no, Teresa, if you have something to ask before, I'm sorry.
I think you also asked a lot of my questions. I only have few questions about collaborative opportunities. Have you partnered? I don't know because I did not research exactly that topic, but did you partner with other businesses, organizations, corporations?
Yeah, many actually. For instance, with Sea Shepherd, which is an organization that tries to protect the marine life. We work with. I need to think about it. We try to, for instance, Green Choice, which is a sustainable energy company. So we have a collaboration with them. So yeah, initially we worked a lot with very green, sustainable other companies. We now try to also look at a bit more mainstream to also present ourselves to those light green customers. So yeah, we think that it's an important way of.
What role do collaborations and partnerships play, like in your strategy for scaling and enhancing your impact?
It differs. In some cases, it's volume or turnover. In other cases, it's awareness, or it's making environmental impact. For instance, with Just Dig It, where we regenerate trees together with them. So it's quite a diverse motivation, actually.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Tim. You can, I think.
Yes, thank you. No, I was just curious because earlier I think it was an answer to one of Amara's questions that you also mentioned technological innovations in the years to come, which will make your job a bit
Dream come
easier.
true.
Yeah, dream come true. You obviously have a lot more knowledge about this. Do you maybe have like predictions what one can expect, I don't know, within the next 5 or 10 years? What is the most desirable innovation that you would wish would happen? Or I'm not even sure if this is something that you can, certainly predict right
definitely.
now. Yeah.
So we've set ourselves a goal of having a commercially available pair of jeans made out of 100% post-consumer jeans. So really what's the name again? Circular, but there's even a better term for it, where you use the old things to make the exact same new thing. So that's our first objective for 2026, which is ambitious, but we want to work towards that. And then our long-term goal is in 2030 to have all our products made in that way. So that's the target that we have set ourselves.
Okay, very interesting. And then one last question. I think you've partially mentioned this already, or I think I have a good understanding of what your answer will be, but I'm just gonna ask anyways, because the more I don't know, the legislative landscape will evolve and everything, people or other companies will be forced to also advance in everything that you guys are currently doing. Are you maybe, I don't know, afraid that when someone like, I don't know, Zara or H&M fully embrace circularity just as you do, that this will become difficult for you in terms of competition? Because I think if big players like them would already act like you guys right now, then they would, I don't know, it would cost them quite a lot, but they would be able to, handle it because I think they would have enough money, they have enough investors and everything. Are you maybe, I don't want to say afraid, but what do you think about this potential scenario? I'm not even sure if this will ever happen because, I don't
No,
know.
it's same here. So a few answers. So we are constantly trying to innovate one step ahead of what others are doing. So, but it might be true that one day there are no more steps to take and other bigger companies will do what we are doing. It will be bittersweet, I would say. It could mean that we are obsolete, but it also means that we have succeeded in changing the denim industry. So it's a bit of a catch-22, I would say.
Yeah, no, okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So you wouldn't, bittersweet meaning you would still be kind of glad that this sort of transition to a circular denim sector would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have sort of overdone the hour, so I'm not sure if your questions are answered. I do hope so.
Yes,
If
thank you
there's
very much.
one last thing, please shout out now before we leave.
Did you guys introduce yourselves in the beginning with your roles and stuff, what
Yeah.
you do? Okay, then I
Sure.
will check that and the questions from Anika, and I think then I have everything. So thank you, and I'm sorry that I had some technical difficulties, but your employees were very eager to help, so that was great.
Happy that it worked out. Good.
Yes.
Thanks all.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for your interest and your always, your questions also give good food for thought. So that's always very nice to hear. Good luck with your studies and bye bye. Have a good evening.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Bye bye.